What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How are you doing out there today on this Easter Sunday? Welcome to Real Talk for Real Men. This is our normal scheduled time to do the show on Sundays. And normally we do our shows every Wednesday and every Sunday live. And you can, of course, reach us on Facebook and YouTube. And we are part of the TFG TV platform, where you can find us on the YouTube channel under TFG Uncut. TFG Uncut. You can also find a bevy of shows on TFG platform. You know, myself on Brenton Haynes shows. We got shows dealing with politics, religion, men, women, you name it, we got it. But I wanted to pop in today on this Easter Sunday just to kind of say hello. I am coming off of my 1 week hiatus, my break for quality of life. Real Talk for Real Men has been broadcasting live shows for over 2 years. Every Wednesday, every Sunday, we've been doing this. So for purposes of mental health and quality of life, every 6 shows, I decided that we would take a week off. That would give me and my co-host Tasha an opportunity to kind of recharge the batteries, to keep everything fresh. But I definitely wanted to pop in today because we were off last week and today's show falls on Easter. So I wanted to come on and just wish everybody a happy Easter. I hope that you're having a fantastic holiday. I hope that you're like me. You're sitting back and you're watching TV. I'm sitting here watching the NBA Finals, sipping on my beer and enjoying my Sunday. So I hope you're enjoying your family. And I just want to have a quick little conversation about Easter in general, and what it means to me personally, as well as what it means to you. But I just wanted to kind of remind you guys that you can find us any normal Wednesday or Sunday right here on YouTube or on Facebook. We are part of the TFG family, and we are on TFG Uncut and TFG Ratchet. But the Real Talk for Real Men format, we talk pretty bluntly, so the language is definitely for adults. And we talk about subjects that are for adults, about men, women, sex, religion, politics, you name it. And we do it in a very adult way. But we're going to suspend that for today. Let's talk about Easter really quickly, and I won't keep you guys long for those of you who might be popping in. Easter, for most of us, especially African Americans, this is a time of reflection and appreciation for the death of Jesus Christ. Now, whether you are a believer or not, a churchgoer or not, I think still in African-American families, we still appreciate Jesus Christ. We are religious by nature. And so for a lot of people, today is a day of reflection. It's an opportunity to go to church, to think about, family, togetherness. I know that Easter has become so commercialized for a lot of people and that we've gotten away from what the original celebration used to be about, especially for us in African-American families growing up, because as a 54-year-old man, I remember Easter as a time when families got dressed up, truly got dressed up, girls in little skirts and the white shoes and the hair done. I remember my sisters being up all night, with the hot comb, getting the curlers in their hair. And me as a young man getting, that was the only time really you were going to get a new suit, and you got out today and you went to church, and of course the Easter eggs and the bunny and all that stuff was a part of it. But there was religion. There was God in the picture. And I just wanted to kind of talk about that because I think we've removed God from the equation. As over this weekend, as I've been sitting here watching TV and relaxing, they put on a couple of religious shows. And what I've noticed is a real deficit. Oh my God, Brooklyn got beat on the last second shot. It is what it is, folks. But I notice a real deficit, when it comes to God, when it comes to this holiday. Normally in my lifetime, They used to always put on the 10 Commandments literally a week or so leading up to this. And they would have religious movies on back to back all day long. As I look at my cable channels, that's not the case now. In fact, when I look at, some of the religious shows that have come on today, it's taken God out of it. I see that my co-host, McMack, how you doing, McMack? I see you joining me.
I did. Yeah, I decided to. Yeah, I'm here, and like you said, I just saw the final of the game as well.
Man, what a spectacular game! Won on the last second shot. Well played.
Are they
Well,
reviewing it?
yeah, but he got it off in time. The reality is he got it off in time, and this we are I think in for a fantastic final. But what I'm talking about just briefly, and I just wanted to just touch base on Easter, and I was sharing with the viewers how to me God has been taken out of this holiday,
Mm.
and I was saying how I normally would use this time as a TV watcher to watch all these shows about religious aspects of God and the 10 Commandments and the greatest story ever told. And I found myself this weekend having to truly search for those shows because they just weren't on. Number one, they put the 10 Commandments on, I think it was last Sunday. It was a TV edited version. But I noticed yesterday and today, I didn't see a lot of religious shows. They had the Bible series on, and then they had on the History Channel, they had a thing about Jesus Christ. And what was so interesting about it was the fact that the way they tell the stories now when it comes to Jesus and the Bible, they've removed God out of the equation. The historical stories now about Jesus Christ, they literally go out of their way to make him just a regular guy, a charismatic guy, who came upon us at a time. And the focus was so much on the political things that was going on amongst the Romans and the Israelites. They completely wiped the miracles out of the equation. It was amazing to watch that this morning, how every single opportunity they had to highlight Jesus performing any kind of miracles or truly being from God, they wiped away. And even at the end, they gave this soliloquy, basically pretty much stating in an intellectual way that Jesus Christ was a powerful orator, speaker, had an impact on the world. And here today, he is kind of responsible for the influx of Christianity. So to give him a little bit of credit, but not the reason for the season, as we say.
No, they want to humanize him.
Absolutely.
But also not to glorify him, because they don't want to step on any toes. They don't want to be, they don't want to be not inclusive. They don't want anyone to feel bad, and different things, because everybody has their own personal views and personal beliefs. But even that, I'm even starting to call into question that, just people's morality. Do people have something? Do they have a code that they govern their lives by? Because like you said, I don't know anymore.
And I would answer in the negative. I read something just this past weekend where there is supposed to be some new text that's been found where Jesus Christ abused his power. So when you say they're humanizing him, they're going all the way now. And there is supposedly a new text where it's from the age of, I think 5 to 12, where they gave instances of Jesus Christ performing miracles, literally killing people out of anger as this obstinate child. And then, of course, they cleaned it up by saying that once he became the Messiah and performed miracles, those people came back to life some kind of way. It's fascinating, like you said, how they want to humanize him, but they don't want to glorify him. And it's all done in the name of inclusiveness, because where we are now as a nation, as a people, as a world, is we don't want to step on anybody's toes anymore. We don't want to offend anybody. We want everybody to feel included and welcomed. And it's a way to take God out of the equation. Thank you for joining just this brief discussion, Valerie. She says it's the saddest thing ever. Jesus was so much more than a charismatic leader. Absolutely. So that's my view, Valerie. I thank you for sharing that. That's how I feel. And that's why I did find it very empty, searching for religious context today on TV, because there was a time I was saying, Tasha, where when we got even close to Easter, we had the greatest story ever told, and the King of Kings, and the different tellings about Salome and this and that. All those movies were coming on, and it was amazing how those movies actually gave credit and credence to God and Jesus Christ. But we live in a time now where he's been stripped of all of that. In fact, I would even go so far as to say Mary, his mother, has been raised at a higher level than Jesus Christ now. There is worship now of Mary more so, and more spoke about her than actually what Jesus did himself. And that's where we live in, because anybody can buy in the fact that she was so great to deliver this great child, and she's been lifted to sainthood, in Catholicism. But we question Jesus's identity, the miracles, all of those things, so.
But even in that, you have to consider like who is pushing that story. You have the Vatican, who is its own little sect, its own little world essentially, who does have the power in order to push along those narratives. Because even right now, as I'm scrolling through, what you don't see on that they never, out of all the movies that they always replay, The Passion of the Christ is never replayed. Mel Gibson did a fantastic job in that movie.
Correct.
And today it's not on. You don't see anything. Nothing is on. Peter Rabbit is on. I can tell you that. Oh, speaking of with that, we say that, you think about all the things that we've done, like I'll just call it like the pagan rituals and different things. Like we put so much stock into Easter egg hunts and different things like that. Like, what is that? Even like where that comes from, like what that, like, and what that means, and there's such an emphasis that's placed on that. You go into the stores, you see all the Easter candy, all the Easter eggs, but there's no morality, there's no moral compass that's coming along with that. You have people that live their lives on a daily basis that will shout it from the rooftop that they don't believe in, God, that they don't believe in any one entity, that they're not, that they're atheists, and but then again, it's like you still take it upon yourself to celebrate these individual holidays.
Absolutely. Speaking of morality, carmarshall.com chimed in with a thought. The person says, morality shouldn't come from someone told me or religion, but from do right by my fellows as I view them as myself. So that's his views, and he followed that up with, that was a great movie, and Apocalypto. So Carmarshall's taking this time to just, use this as an opportunity to talk about great movies.
So that's interesting, because I would even challenge that. Where do you get those sense of morality? Where do you get the activities, the thoughts of how you treat other fellows as you treat yourself? It has to come from somewhere.
I thought that was interesting. The wording itself was do right by my fellows as I view them as myself, which is a colloquialism and a take on what was directly uttered from Jesus Christ as one of his greatest commandments. So it's amazing once again how we're able to take those teachings, twist them and mold them to fit our own personal agendas, but take him out of the equation now, because we don't want anybody telling us what to do. But we want, and again, I'm not stating whether that's right or wrong. I'm just giving my own personal views, but I just think that's great, how people are able to do that. And I think that's where we've come to, right now, that, and I say this all the time, freedom isn't free. Everybody want to be free.
Yeah.
They want to be free to say and do whatever they want to, but I don't believe freedom is free. Freedom is free. There's a cost. Valerie said it's a spinoff, and I hear it exactly, Valerie. Absolutely. And of course, Carl Marshall said it's internal.
It's
You
not
know,
internal. It's learned behavior that was passed down from you that you pull from other people, other things that you may have seen, but your moral compass is centered whether or not you want to, contribute to that or actively say it comes from any sort of religion. It's centered in something because you're not out here living by the fucking pirate code. I can say that.
but once again, to me, that's another clear example of how, once again, we become people that we want to take credit, for something that was given and bred in us, but we want to mold it and shape it into something that we came on our own. And that's okay. Again, I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. I'm just saying it how I see it. I want to share another comment from Valerie. She said they only replay uh, you will get Passion of Christ if you purchase the movie, you know. And so you're right, Valerie. You have to go search for it, on certain platforms and streaming networks. And again, some people will blame their feelings on what they think about Mel Gibson, since he produced the movie and directed the movie, as a reason why that's the reason why they won't play it, and it's a clear case in a lot of cases of shooting the messenger. You know what I'm saying? You're shooting the messenger. But to your point earlier, Tasha, I firmly believe that movie is not played and it don't want to be showed because of its content, the graphic nature of making us truly understand what this whole holiday is supposed to be about and Jesus Christ's sacrifice is supposed to be about. But we only want to focus on the nice things. It's odd that you talked about Peter Rabbit and Easter eggs. So we want to embrace the commercialism of things, but we don't want to talk about anything that's too heavy. We're not going to make people feel bad about where they are in their life and how they're living their life, because to show that graphic nature of the way he got beat and the reason behind it, that might force us to think about some decisions we are making or have made in our life up to this point.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? So, now, and again, Carl Marshall, to be fair, he says he's not anti-religion, and I view myself as a Christian, and certainly I appreciate that. I appreciate that, because again, we weren't questioning your Christianity or anything, and all views are welcome on this platform as always. So I definitely appreciate your content. Valerie says, I'm old school. I still have the DVD. Valerie, Valerie, I do too. That's one of those DVDs I'm never going to throw away. Whether it has value, ever comes back and become valuable or not, I want a physical copy of that so that I'm like, for me, if I ever just want to watch it, it's there. It's going nowhere. That's in my time capsule. So when they come find my bloated body after 4 days in this apartment, somebody would dig up and find the DVD for The Passion of the Christ, because I think it's very valuable. But anyway, having said that, I just wanted to kind of touch base on what we think on Easter, what it means for me. Now, as a single man, I'll wrap up here in the next 10 minutes. We were only going to do a 30-minute conversation here. For me personally, and this is, what it means for me. Oh, and I forgot to acknowledge my brother.
Hey, Kenny.
Kenny, that's my brother from another mother. How you doing, my brother? Appreciate you. Thanks for popping in. Hopefully you're having a great, great Easter, which is leading exactly where I want to go with it to wrap up. I can only tell you what Easter means for me. And then you know what? I'm gonna let you go first. What does this day mean for you?
I think it means different things, like when you were younger and then where you are now. I think about, like, my mom asked me earlier, like if I was going to go over to my dad's house for like Easter dinner and stuff like that. And I'm not, I want to be at home anyway. Right. But, for me, it does take me back to getting ready for Easter, like Easter church Easter Sunday, going to the service, hearing the teachings, but then after that you are spending time, like with your family around the dinner table. Certain people have certain things that they eat on Easter. I always
Right.
associated with having ham. I don't know why, but Easter for me is having ham. That's all they
Okay.
got, ham. But also, we would spend that time, we would go around the table and we would actually talk about like the crucifixion and different things and what it meant to us. So, like you said, it also for me truly signifies the beginning of spring, so of things growing back, of rebirth and different things, and starting, starting anew. Because we can argue this of whether or not spring is actually the beginning of the year of the calendar. We won't even get into
Right.
that.
Right. Right. Right.
But it is a sense of renewal, and like what are you going to do now differently in spring, and like setting yourself up, for the year. You have spring cleaning, and again, all these things that you do during spring. But it definitely is something. I mean, it's not very nice outside here, usually, and I also associate it with being like a nice spring day.
Right.
But definitely being with family is a big thing for me. Like I would associate it with, and just like what does the holiday truly mean to you? Like after you've whether or not you believe, but like if you set some time to yourself, what are you going to do differently, either for the week, for the month, going forward, for the season? What are you hoping to accomplish? So.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. So I'll share for me what Easter actually means. Ironically, so for me, this is a time of reflection for me. Believe it or not. Um, as I've aged, I've certainly become more. What's the word you said? You referred to me recently. We had this conversation. I've become more emotional, reflective.
Oh yeah, yeah, more emotional, yeah,
Uh, uh,
nostalgic, yeah.
Absolutely, and I bring that up because, ironically, this week I shared this with, I think you or my sister. I'm not sure. I woke up in a cold sweat one night because I had a supernatural dream. So I probably was telling Sherry this.
Hmm.
You know, without going too deep into the dream, every now and then I have a dream where I believe I can fly. And when I say fly, I don't mean flapping my wings fly. I mean of a rapture type nature where it's as realistic as can be, where I'm able to, rise up. And what was so vivid about this dream the other night is that I've had it a few times before, and in this dream I'm literally rising up and I'm floating over the city. The first part is almost Supermanish, where you're enjoying the view of rising above the buildings. But where it gets terrifying is then I go into a place of outer space. And for some reason in this dream, I've had it a few times in my life where I'm on my way to meet God. This is where it got scary. And I end up waking up, and I always end up waking up. It's because I'm going to a place of an unknown. So I liken it to people who have those near-death experiences where they say they see a light. Now, of course, in my vision, I'm not seeing like this brilliant white light, but I'm seeing things that I can't even explain this, to be
Hmm.
honest with you. I just know that I'm entering a realm that is otherworldly. And for me, I woke up and I sleep in total darkness and I have the face mask on. And so it's in that moment that I wake up and I realize I'm in bed and I'm here. And for me, that's when it called to mind, what does that mean, all this kind of stuff. So I turned the TV on, and this is 3 4 o'clock in the morning, and I started thinking about my brothers. I lost two of my brothers that never saw the age of 30. So Easter for me is a time of reflection of when my family was whole, because I can't associate with this new element of what Easter is. The Easter bunny and the Cadbury bunny and the candy and all that kind of stuff. I can't relate to that. When I do think about Easter, what it was for our family. We were whole, and it was just a brilliant time where family, in that one moment, we thought about God. You know,
Mhm.
you come from a family as large as mine, we certainly weren't godly. For the most part, you know, there was a lot of cursing and fighting and fussing and discord and all this kind of stuff, chaos. But it was amazing how during this holiday, my entire family, immediate and otherwise, that was the only time of the entire year, not even Christmas. You know, people think of Christmas as Jesus Christ's birthday. We can debate that too, but not even Christmas. It was only during Easter where peace for the whole family happened. That was the only time where cousins and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters and, you know, whoever put put everything away and recognize that there was something bigger than themselves happening here, and that we need to stop, slow down, and take some time to appreciate family, because we're all here by the grace of God. And that was the only time a year that ever happened. And it was amazing to me to go to church, and of course me and my sister, we got the little baskets and the stuff from church, you know, the jelly beans and all that kind of stuff. But it really wasn't about that. When you got back from church, you know what you did back in the day? You stood around in your Easter outfit and you talked about church and people that you were at war with and had a difference with. That was the one time where if you even hated a family, but you talked to them on Easter. Hey, how you doing? You look really nice. And, you know, oh, I got the new suit on. And back then, people actually dressed up for real, because going to church meant you were putting on your Sunday best to present yourself to God. Well, somewhere in there, we know that's all changed. Now it's come as you are and whatever you are, and you can just finish sucking and fucking, and you can still go to church and all this kind of stuff. But there was a time that all of that kind of paused. So for me, today is just I don't have family here in Atlanta. So for me, today is just about appreciation. I do miss my brothers. So over this weekend, I have had moments where I've cried,
Mhm.
um, you know, because I looked and you realize how many years they've been gone. And so again, as I was searching for these religious movies over this weekend, I was starving for something spiritual. I
Mhm.
was literally starving for something spiritual, and I'm not full because, as I said at the beginning, what I found, it completely took God out of it. So, to Valerie's point, I may have to go onto one of my streaming platforms tonight and find something to fill me up spiritually, to make me truly just at least head into my week with a higher level of appreciation for family, for friends, and for where I'm at this point. And I wanted to say, as our last minute or so we got here, in case you don't know, Tasha is my very, very best friend on this earth. And I get very sad because I get to see her week after week virtually, but I don't get a chance to see my friend. But I love her. I love you. I love you. And giving you your flowers as my friend, that's what this for me is about. I'm glad you joined me today. Uh,
Yeah.
I love you. I miss you. Um, I hate we don't live in the same space. What's going on, Brother Lamar? That's Mr. TFG himself. And I just wanted to use this time to say for all the things I'm thankful for. I know people do that on Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for today, for being where I'm at and having the family members still alive and well. Right before this meeting, we had Tango. I mean Duo. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My family's doing great, and then I get to see my very best friend on this planet. And I just want to say I love you. I miss you. I thank you for being my friend. So that for me is what this day is for me. You know. So that's what all we want to do. So we appreciate you guys, and we will see you on Wednesday, where we will be back with, we hope, another fantastic show of real talk for real men. And we'll on Wednesdays we'll have a subject that is very, very interesting. And I've already picked the subject just to whet your appetite. So, Tasha, I want you
Okay.
to think about this.
Okay.
I want to revisit the subject about interracial dating. And the question I want to ask is it time? Is it time for Black women to truly start gravitating towards white men because they treat them better and they have better results in their relationships?
Okay, so you want people to fight after Easter.
I got some statistics to share with you
Mhm.
that makes a argument towards that just to whet your appetite.
Mhm.
Black women are traditionally more educated than Black men. We know women outnumber men,
Mhm.
and there is some evidence that white men treat Black women better. And let me rephrase that Black women fare better with white men in terms of material comforts and things like that. So is it time? Is it time for Black women to truly embrace dating outside their race? And in this case, I'm talking about white men instead of just being stuck with trying to build a Black family. Is it time for the Black love shit to die?
Oh Lord have mercy. You just going incite a riot. Okay. I thought we were trying to build love today. Yeah,
And
we're gonna need some church after this.
I will let you know that is Wednesday's show. And that might even be the title that I'll post. Is it time, and this is for Black women, is it time for that Black love shit to die?
Whew.
With that said, everybody enjoy your Sunday, relax, enjoy each other, enjoy Easter, hopefully inculcate a little bit of God into your picture. And we will see you guys on Wednesday when we will examine that topic. And you already know it's going to get real.
Yes, it is.
With that said, God bless you. Stay safe. Be good to each other.